Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am now going to be doing skin coats. I'm doing them in a wash form. And what I have here, I mixed up Flesh 08, Flesh 06, Flesh 07, and I have Bountiful Baby Skin. I have 4 colors. The first color I am applying is the Flesh 08. So you're going to mix it up very thin, like a wash, and you're going to apply it like a wash. You want to make sure that when you're done applying it, especially with the hands and feet, that you don't leave it gathered in the creases. You do not want to leave any pale white in the creases. So make sure that you don't do that. I'm just going over this piece right now, trying to make sure that's exactly what I didn't do. I did start applying it. I almost forgot to video. Very sorry. I'm not good at that. I always forget things. So, I'm trying here. I'm newer at the videoing thing. I do a lot better reborning when I just kind of focus and do. But I'm trying to get out there, get my work out there, and, show what I can do. Because I'm proud of myself. I think I do an excellent job, and I've been doing this for 8 years. And I know there's a lot of reborn artists out there. Everybody knows who they are because of YouTube, throwing it out there, this and that. I'm just not usually that type of person. I have a little bit of anxiety and, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I'm not super out there. I'm quiet to myself mostly. So anyway, though, but I'd like to try and do this and have everyone get to know me and see my work and see if you like it at all. So that's that. In the process right now, you can just sit here and hang out with me as I go over this baby and put on this Flesh 08 coat. So this is after neutralizing washes. This is after creasing. This is after mottling. This is after a little bit of veining and bluing. And I even did a teeny bit of blushing on the corner of the nose and tiny bit on the cheeks, tiny bit on the elbows and knees. Very tiny. It's very light. It's just to be under the skin. And when we're doing this, I am not going to bake each layer, so I have to be very careful to check each piece over. Very careful. I can't leave any gatherings or it will ruin the whole thing of the baby. So I gotta be really careful what I'm doing when it comes to that. Don't get any white all gathered on your nails either, okay? Make sure you get that off of there. I'm gonna set this piece down to dry. And I use my pan here with some polyfill. That's what I'm working with right now. And it lets the pieces dry and so I just flip them over on the other side. So here's my other arm. I've done nothing to it. So I'm going to show you what I did. Where's my little cosmetic wedge? I like to lose myself. So I'm going to stir up my Flesh 08. I mixed it very thin. Let me show you that. It's very thin. So like if you run it down the side, can you see that? It just barely sticks and it turns clear. Or if you stir it and tip it, it runs almost clear as it goes to the other side. You don't want to overdo that. My sponge has been moistened with the paint. You can even tap it on there. And then I'm just going to take it and before the nail, I'm going to brush downward like this. And I'm going to start my wash. And I'm just going to try to stay away from the nail tips. We don't really need to flesh them up. And I'm just going to do that. Stir up my Flesh 08 again. And I come about halfway down the arm towards the elbow. If I think I got too much paint, I can pounce it on my sponge because it'll actually absorb it into that. And it'll add it back when I pounce. So there's that. I'm going to give my little sponge a squeeze here. And then I'm going to tap it on my paper towel and then I'm just going to start to pounce that color in. Being careful to make sure it's on all the fingers and around all the little parts of the hand. And then after I get done pouncing really well, I will show you that I'll go back in between each of these creases that are up here before I go to the other half of the arm. And I will take a dry mop brush or paintbrush of some kind, and I will get into those creases. You don't want to leave white in there. So I'm lightly pouncing. I'm not smashing the pouncer on, but I am not like barely touching it. So it's kind of like I don't know. You just kind of get the feel for it. You can hear it a little bit, but if you're smashing it, the paint's going to run. If you're not touching it really, then you're not going to put paint on. So it's kind of tricky, but it's not. You get used to it after a while. You want to see like the little pin dot effect. And even though I'm not really seeing pin dots because this is a very thin color, you can see it because of the pouncing of the sponge. I have this little dry paintbrush here, see? And I'm making sure it's dry. You can check on my paper towel. And then I'm just going to go in between each finger. And I'm going to pounce in there. I want to make sure, even if I don't really see anything, I do it because I don't have the greatest eyesight in the world, and I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't want to come back later and say, oh my gosh, look at that big blob of skin coat in between my creases. Because then I would be very sad. These babies are not cheap to do. They are pricey. Even when they're on sale, I think they're pricey because by the time you get done getting the kit, the body, the glass, the everything, the stuffing, the whatever you're going to get and put on there, it is costly. Now, I do have a little bit of a pet peeve out there. It seems to be like if people don't know you, they don't want to buy your stuff. Now, I understand that because, you're afraid. But also, I understand that I might be too low at pricing my babies because I put them up, and I started to put them up kind of low because I wanted people to go, oh my goodness, this is a really great baby. And she does a wonderful job. I figured they'd tell their friends and everything, and I'd get calls or customs or something. And then I could slowly increase my price. Now, I know people are saying, oh my God, well, that's not nice. It is because just like everywhere else, there's a little inflation, okay? Like our prices for our clothes and our foods go up because the companies need more money because things cost more money to get. So like Bountiful Baby upped their prices. I've been doing this for 8 years. They upped their prices, okay? The paintbrushes are more expensive. Michael's upped their prices. Everybody upped their prices. So I started off lower so I could get out there. And now I think people are expecting me to just sell my dolls for that because when I tried to increase the price, nobody wants to buy them. I've had a couple people actually call me and they want customs. Not call me, but message me, email me, whatever. They want customs. Oh, how much is it for this baby? So one of the people wanted a baby doll of mine that had rooted hair. It was a real born kit. It was very newborn-y. It had the dry skin effect on the ankles. It had a belly cord thing. I mean, you name it, the detail was there. Little scratch mark, little milk bumps. Every little detail. And I'll tell you what, I'll put up a picture right now because I think, and not because it's my work, but I think it was every bit of prototype worthy. And I gave them a price, and you guys are going to gasp because I know a lot of people out there charge way more than this. I want to say the price that I had offered them was $5.99,
something like that,
$6.99, something like that. I just calculated the price that it would cost to make it, everything I put into the other one. Then I gave myself X amount of dollars to make it, which probably is enough because it takes a lot of time. I work outside the home and I don't just do that. I don't do this for the money. I do it for the enjoyment. I do it for the hobby. I just really love seeing how these babies turn out. It gives me a lot of enjoyment. And you know what? They didn't even say, no, thank you. I'm sorry, that's too expensive. They didn't even say anything. They just stopped talking to me. You can't even be respectful and say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that at this time, but your babies are beautiful or something. No, you just completely stop talking to me. What? Because it's too much? Is it too much? That doll in alone, I want to say, cost me $300 to make. I want to say it cost me $300. The hair can cost $100 depending on how much hair you get or where you get it from. The needles are expensive. The doll kits are $30 to $60, and if you buy like a twin A or something like that, those are $100, $129, $100. If you get an older baby, I mean, these kits are expensive. And if you get the cheap of the cheapy ones, I don't care how well you paint it, nobody wants those because they've been out too long. So You can forget trying to skip around and save money like that. If you want one of these babies that looks like a real baby, then you're going to have to pay for it, people. I mean, this is artwork. This is my soul and my heart and my love and my time and everything going into these babies. I mean, in order for me to paint these babies, I must be taking time away from my family, right, to do it? I must be taking time away from something. Now, I enjoy doing it, yes. It is a hobby, and people do often do hobbies and relax and stuff, that's fine. But, you know, obviously, I also, you know, don't mind doing customs for people. But don't expect me to sell these babies for $100, $199. That doesn't even cover the cost of making the doll. This baby I am making technically isn't for sale. I may or may not put him up anyway. I'm not sure. But when I'm done with him, if he comes out how I want him to come out, he will be about $899. So I'm just letting everybody know what he will cost. I don't want to be asked a million times on YouTube either, like, you know, how much. I'm telling you now. If I do decide to put him up for sale, that's what he's going to cost. And he is going to have painted hair. I'm not going to root him. He's a big-headed baby, plus my children and my grandchildren. We're practically completely bald. One of my grandkids basically was bald. Like, when you touched his head, it was like rubber. He had a little bit of hair. It fell out. So, I mean, my kids didn't really have hair. I think I need to put a little hair on because too bald just looks silly to me. It's like, you know, especially on a bigger baby like this. So I'm going to put some hair on him, but it's going to be done in a certain manner of paint job so it looks like a real 3 to 5 month old baby. Not every baby's got a whole head full of hair. And when you root hair, I love it. Rooting is beautiful too. But it also can fall out, break off. It doesn't give you as much time or whatever. You can't really like handle the baby. And even though my babies could definitely be put on a shelf somewhere to be just looked at, I actually want them to be handled. You know, I mean, I put them out there for people, maybe nursing homes. Somebody might want one. Or maybe a child that's like 13, 14, you know, wants to practice being a mommy or something like that, wants a baby. Or maybe there's somebody out there who can't have children and they'd like to adopt one of my babies. So you know something? That's beautiful, that's wonderful, and I'm happy to help. But I also want to make them manageable. You want to change their clothes a lot? You don't really need that hair breaking off, messy and going all over the place. I've noticed some of the bigger artists are starting to paint hair too. Sylvia, I can't pronounce her last name, but I noticed that she's painting hair on babies. She does a beautiful job. I know Jackie Ortiz paints hair on her babies. I mean, I'm very well aware of all the big time artists, and they do wonderful, beautiful work. And I love them, and they're excellent people, and I'm hoping that people will get to know me a little bit as well. So I'm going to put my work out there. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't, but it's all up to your preference. I'm going to do my very best and get myself out there and see what y'all think. But needless to say, I will not be shot down on pricing because I very well think that I price fairly. I have never thought that I was an unfair pricing. So I'm not going to lower the prices of my baby dolls anymore, guys. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I just assume not do it anymore if I have to, than to keep lowering and lowering and lowering. Because I mean, I pay out of pocket for this. So, and I work outside of my home. I have a whole bunch of grandchildren. I have children, and I'm not rich. So. Hopefully I've got enough paint here to finish this. Get a little on the thin side. I think we can do it. So I'm going to just paint my baby, staying away from the nails. If you do get the paint on the nails, that's okay. Go back with your cosmetic wedge and take it off. Don't let it sit on very long. So I'm going to stop about the ankle. Sorry. I do have allergies and I sneeze a lot. I apologize. I'm going to take my wedge, and I might have touched a nail, so I'm going to just go back and really good pounce off on that. I'm going to take my pouncing wedge, and I'm going to go ahead and pounce in that color on my little feet, the tip of the toes, you know, like really work that paint in. Well, we definitely will be going over this baby with a brush in the creases, because when you have the feet, there are a lot of creases and it will gather there, and we don't want that. So I'm going to take this dry mop brush that I don't have anything on, and I'm just going to basically pounce the toes and inside these creases on the foot real quick and around the ankle. And you can even like dry it off afterwards if you'd like. Because I know that, it gets kind of wet and then you're not sure if it's actually getting all the paint. So I do it with that first, and then I'll take this smaller brush that I had before that I showed you, and I'm just gonna get in there again. I want to make sure I don't have gathered paint, because it won't look nice if you do. You just want to get that out of there, especially the deep creases around this. This baby's got really cute feet and stuff. It's a really chubby baby, so there's lots of wrinkles and folds on the little guy, and he's just adorable. He actually looks a little bit like one of my grandchildren, and I thought it would be cute to make him. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice. It's the reason why I don't talk all bunch. So let's see. Just finish this up real quick. Or actually, guys, let me finish this up and make me some tea, and I'll get back with you on the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.